And Pentagon officials are denying that Elon Musk received a briefing on China. Musk visited the Defense Department on Friday and met with Secretary Pete Hegseth. His itinerary was a bit of a mystery. On Thursday, the New York Times reported that Musk was set to receive a top-secret briefing on U.S. war plans for China. But Trump and Hegseth insisted the meeting was about Doge and not China, where Musk has deep financial interests. Meanwhile, Doge has taken a chainsaw to other agencies focused on foreign policy this week, including the U.S. Institute of Peace, in a move that Congressman Gregory Meeks called a hostile takeover. Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York joins us now. He is the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Congressman Meeks, it's so good to see you this morning. Can we start where Alicia started with this briefing at the Pentagon? NBC News has not been able to independently confirm what the actual details were of that briefing, but it seems to me, and Michael, we were discussing in the break, that this even made it out to the public in the papers because people inside the Pentagon who knew about the meeting that was coming up seemed to be so concerned that they felt the need to kind of blow the whistle on this one. What is your take on what we're seeing from the Pentagon and this meeting, but also Secretary Hegseth and his agenda writ large?
Well, I say thank God that we did have some patriots inside that leaked it to the New York Times, because clearly we know that Donald Trump would have given access to Elon Musk. And when you think about the danger that that presents to itself, you're letting him see classified information on China, where he has his biggest plant, his biggest manufacturing for his Tulsa is in China. A lot of money invested in China. And so this would have, given him a competitive advantage against his competitors, number one, but it's only about him being rich. You know, in addition thereto, he gets $38 billion from the United States government. So there is an inherent conflict of interest in that regards. And we know that Donald Trump in the past has taken classified information to Mar-a-Lago and showed it to individuals, showing it off, saying, hey, look at this, look at that. He showed classified information in the White House to the Russians. So this is a serious national security interest to the United States by allowing a non-elected individual to have access to records in the Pentagon. He should be banned from the Pentagon altogether.
Non-elected and non-Senate confirmed.
And non-Senate confirmed.
That part.
Yeah, to that point, let's hear what the Secretary of Defense had to say about this visit, because I have thoughts.
We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot.
Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position.
Okay, so that last part, I was buying your BS up till that last part, because you know damn well that if Elon Musk has access to sensitive Chinese information, given what the congressman just said about all his business interests in China, yeah, he's sitting for that meeting. So, Congressman, riddle me this. If this was just about Doge, then why, as the New York Times and others reported, was this going to be held in the Department of Defense equivalency of a SCIF, where you have classified sensitive information? They've gone to other departments, and they weren't doing a SCIF at the Department of Education. They were doing a SCIF at the SBA. But they get to the Department of Defense when China and all those secrets are, and now they're going to have a secret meeting in a SCIF. Mr. Secretary, please, don't think we're stupid. You know daggone well what was about to happen, and patriots inside and outside that building got wind of it and laid it on the street. Is that a fair assessment, Congressman?
That is an absolute fair assessment. And we know that when he gets caught in lies, they go back, because initially this same guy who just was a weekend TV host,
Still
Fox,
is,
who is now the Secretary of the Defense, First he would not say anything to the press, no transparency, quiet about it. And when they got caught, now they're trying to run it back. Similarly, as the president trying to run it back, whether it was his signature on the bill with reference to trying to deport individuals. First, then he went back and said, I didn't sign it. Then they realized he has to say now, they came back with a White House statement, he did sign it. They lie. And that is something that is emblematic and that continues to happen from this guy who is now the president of the United States. And it's very worrisome because it is a national security risk that is presented to all. When you look at some of these other agencies that we work in, I know the American people, we got to get into it, but what really USAID does and what the U.S. Agency for Global Media, how significant and important that is, and what the U.S. Institute for Peace does, and you see how they went in for the U.S. Institute for Peace in a Gestapo-like way, just walking into these. So there is a lot going on that's taking place now. And to me, history hasn't seen anything like this, quite like this, since the 1930s. And that's something that's very concerning to me.
And you're seeing a pushback. You have the Trump administration being sued over the shuttering of Voice of America. This is from the court filing. What is happening to the VOA journalists is not just the chilling of First Amendment speech. It is a government shutdown of journalism, a prior restraint that kills content before it can be created. To your point, people may not know what some of these institutions do, but we have benefited from the democracy building that they have fostered abroad.
And when you shut them down, what you're doing then is open the opportunities for Russia and China. For example, with the Voice of America, where you're talking about democracy. So you shut them down and you have the voices, the government voices of Russia and China. They will then step in those places trying to talk about them and negative about the United States of America. So it's anti who we are and what our values are. And that's why you see now that you see the president treating our allies as if they were adversaries and our adversaries as if they were our allies. To vote in the UN with Russia and North Korea, that's just, unbelievable to me. But that's where we're headed. And I understand that the American people, and this is what we need to talk about, because it is in the bush and a lot of folks don't understand what these organizations are about. But it's also affects them because when you start talking about cutting everything, it affects our national security. But then when you look at what they're doing, cutting Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and that doesn't affect just Democrats. It affects all of the United States of America, Democrats, Republicans, independents. When you talk about our national security, that's Democrats, Republicans, those that don't vote. All of these risks of what we are takes place. And we've got to show the American people that if we allow this to continue, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you lose your Social Security. If you're a senior, you're in trouble. If you can't put, you have these high tariffs that he's putting in, and you can't put pay for ordinary goods. Farmers can't sell their products. It hurts them, puts them out of business. We've got to show that each move is connected. It's interconnected. Why are they going across the board like that? They all are interconnected, but they all affect the average everyday American, no matter what party you believe in. And those are the voices that we got to hear standing up, making some noise so that we can preserve our democracy.
Congressman Gregory Meeks, always grateful when you spend some time with us on set. Thank you.